Good day, learners. Today, we will continue our discussion for the English 8 Quarter 1 Module 3. And the title of this is Use of Modal Verbs, Nouns, and Adverbs. And this time, we're going to discuss the part 2. But before that, let's review again the objectives of this module. First, identify modal verbs, nouns, and adverbs used in sentences. Next, construct sentences using appropriate modal verbs, nouns, and adverbs. Address different societal problems by writing ideas using different modals. And lastly, express appreciation of Afro-Asian cultures reflected in the story using modals. Okay, so in the previous part of this module, which is the part 1, you have just read the story of the aged mother and moved by the character's dedication towards honoring the old people. Now, let's see how much you can recall from the story by answering the activity. Direction is arrange the letters to form the modal verb that fits the sentence. Okay, so as you can see, we have here 2 columns. The first column consists the jumbled letters that you need to arrange. Okay, and for the second column, we have the sentence which has its blank and underlined words, and in its blank, you should place the correct word that you figured out from the jumbled letters. Okay, so I will read each sentence for you to have an ample time on arranging the jumbled letters. Okay, so for number 1, the son, blank, not leave his mother alone. He felt a great responsibility to take back his mother home. Number 2, the possibility of the farmer to leave his old mother on the top of a mountain, blank, be done or else both of them will die. Number 3, the governor realized his mistake, so with the ability he has as a governor, he blank abolished the law. Number 4, long, long ago, there lived a poor farmer and his aged mother in a village where a cruel governor blank tests the capacity of his people in following his demands. And last number 5, the governor once again expressed his ability to use his power by demanding that his people blank bring them a rope of ashes. Using the clever idea of his mother, the farmer made a rope of ashes. Remaining time starts now. Time is up. Let's reveal the answers. Okay, so for number 1, the answer is could. Number 2, should. Number 3, will. Number 4, would. And finally, last number, must. Alright, so we're done. Alright, so what's your score? I hope that most of you got a perfect score. Take note of the underlined words used in each of the sentences. Are they familiar to you? Good. So these words are called modal nouns, and the next activities will let you know more about them. Okay, so for our next activity, do you remember the announcement in the previous lesson which said all persons below 21 years old must stay at home during enhanced community quarantine? What was your reaction to it? Alright, so we have here on our screen is the reaction of Peter and Donna. So you need to read their dialogue and find out if you have the same reaction. Alright, so let's read it together. Donna, did you hear that it is an obligation for persons below 21 years old to stay at home during enhanced community quarantine? Really, Peter? I thought it is only a possibility. That is what I heard in the news. Well, whether it is an obligation or just a possibility, it is a necessity that we protect ourselves from the virus, right, Peter? You are right, Donna. Alright, so from this dialogue, do you have the same reaction with Peter and Donna? So you need to notice the underlined words. What do you think are these words? The obligation, possibility, and necessity. So what do you think are these words? Very good. These words are called modal nouns. Okay, so based on what you have noted on the use of modal nouns from Peter and Donna in their conversation in the previous activity, let us learn more about modal nouns. So you need to read and study the sentences below. A. If Carl campaigns hard, his win is a certainty. So the underlined word is certainty. Letter B. Carl's friends express their willingness to help Carl in his campaign. And the underlined word is willingness. And lastly, letter C. There is likelihood that the students will vote for Carl. Okay, so what do the underlined words in each sentence mean? Do they have the same meaning? If not, what makes them different? How are they used in the sentences? The three underlined words may mean the same because they are all qualities or states. However, each is unique. For example, we have the certainty. When we say certainty, it is about the quality or state of being certain or sure. And next is the willingness. So willingness here is a state or quality of being ready to something. And furthermore, the likelihood is a quality or state of something having the chance to happen. Let's go back to the first sentence. Specifically, certainty in sentence 1 expresses that Carl's win is for sure. And the word willingness in sentence 2 expresses that Carl's friends are ready to help him. And in addition, likelihood in sentence 3 expresses that there is a chance that the students will vote for Carl. So these words are used as nouns that express modality. So these nouns that express modality are called modal nouns. So modal nouns again, these are the nouns that express modality and are called modal nouns. So just like the modal verbs, modal nouns also express the quality or state in some manner other than as a simple fact. And we have here the table that shows more examples of modal nouns, their meanings, and sample sentences. So let's read it. For the first modal noun, we have the possibility. Its meaning is the condition or fact of being possible. So we have here a sample sentence. There is a possibility of rain tomorrow. So as you can see in the sample sentence, the modality of the noun is possibility, which means that there is a chance of having a rain tomorrow. Okay, next is obligation. Its meaning is a condition or feeling of being obligated or required. So, sample sentence, students have an obligation to study hard. Okay, so when we say study hard, the students must study hard for them to, of course, finish their studies. And if they want to, or if they study well and more, they can have an academic recognition. So that's it for obligation. And next is necessity. This is the quality or state of being in need. So when we say necessity, this means that you are in need or you need something or you need to do it. Okay, for sample sentence, we have nowadays, mobile phones are considered a necessity. Why is it considered as a necessity? Because of the online classes, just like what we are having right now. And next is ability. It's meaning the quality or state of being able, or the state of what you can do, what can you offer. That's it. So for sample sentence, I have a friend who has the ability to read minds. So when we say ability, this is something you can do or someone can do it. Next, permission. The right or ability to do something given by someone who has the power to allow or disallow. So we have here a sentence sample. My brother is given permission to play. Okay, so that's it. That is an example for permission, which means that you can just get it if someone who or who is in the higher position or in the higher ups will allow you to do it. Okay? Next is request. The condition or state of being requested or sought after. So the sample sentence, the sick lady sent a request for medical assistance. So when we say request, this is an opposite for command. Okay? Because when we say command, you have no choice but to follow it. Okay? But when we say request, someone is asking you to do it. Okay? Or someone, you ask someone to do it. That's it. Next is promise, meaning a declaration to do or refrain from doing something. Sample sentence, it is important that when we make a promise, we keep it. So that is an example for promise. It means that you declare to do or you promise to do something. Next, chance. The condition or fact of a particular outcome in an uncertain situation. Example, if Tony works hard, he has a big chance of succeeding. Okay, so another example for this is, if you study hard and well, you can have a bright future. So that is an example for chance, that if you do something, expect that there will be a reward or there will be an effect of the something that you did. Okay? And next is requirement, a condition that something is needed or must be done. Example, during the pandemic, quarantine pass is a requirement if one will go to the grocery store. So for you to be able to buy goods or necessities or the things that you need, you should have a quarantine pass. So that is a requirement. For example, for you as students, if we are having a face-to-face class, what can be a requirement for you to be able to enter in our school? Very good. One requirement for that is that you are wearing your identification card or your school ID. And of course, wearing a complete uniform. So that is an example for requirement. Next is responsibility, the quality or state of being responsible. Example, it is the parents' responsibility to provide for their children. So when we say responsibility, this is something that you should do, or this is your responsibilities. So as a child of your parents, what is your responsibility? All right, so your responsibility is that you should be polite to them. You should follow their rules and regulation. And lastly, we have the capacity, meaning the quality or state of being able to do something. So this is somewhat kind of related to ability. But when we say capacity, this is your limit. Okay? When we say ability, this can be your talent, something that uniquely you have. Okay? So example, for capacity, I believe my teacher has the capacity to teach us online. So when we say capacity, again, this is something that you can do. And this can also be referred to your limitations. Okay, so that's it for the examples of modal nouns, their meanings, and sample sentences. Okay, so what do you observe with the modal nouns shown in the table? Are they similar to modal verbs? If yes, how are they similar? And if not, how are they different? Right, so let's find out. Take note, the modal nouns are mostly names of qualities or states. They are similar to modal verbs in a way that they also express modal meaning, or they are expressing modality. So that's the similarities between modal nouns and modal verbs. However, they are different from modal verbs in the way they are used in a sentence. So their difference is the way that we use it in a sentence. Modal verbs are used to add information to the main verb, while modal nouns name a quality, state, or condition that state modality. Again, when we say modal verbs, we use these to add information to the main verb. For example, I can dance. So we use the modal can to add information to the main verb, which is dance. Okay? Next, and again, when we say modal verb, when we say modal nouns rather, this is a name of quality, state, or condition that state modality. Let's go back to the example that I have said. I can dance. When we add a modal noun for this, we may say, I have an ability to dance. Okay, so that is how we use the modal nouns and modal verbs, and that is their difference, the way you use it in a sentence. Alright, it seems that you are all ready for our practice exercise. So the direction is identify the modal nouns used in each sentence. So you are just going to identify the modal nouns that is used in the sentences. Again, what are our modal nouns? Let's enumerate: possibility, obligation, necessity, ability, permission, request, promise, chance, requirement, responsibility, and capacity. So you are just going to choose from those modal nouns as your answer in this practice exercises. Okay, so let's start. Number 1. There is a possibility that I will be chosen to join the contest. Time's up. The answer is possibility. Next is number 2. The weather forecast stated that the likelihood of rain tomorrow is high. Time's up. The answer is likelihood. Next is number 3. Eating healthy foods is a necessity. Time's up. The answer is necessity. Number 4. Many people express their willingness to help those in need. Time's up. The answer is willingness. Number 5. My father made a promise that he would buy me a laptop. Time's up. The answer is promise. 6. We have an obligation to take care of the environment. Time's up. The answer is obligation. Number 7. The construction workers made a request to allow them to go back to work. Time's up. The answer is request. 8. Our classroom has the capacity to accommodate 30 students. Time's up. The answer is capacity. Number 9. I met the basic requirements for me to enroll in an online class. Time's up. The answer is requirements. For the last number, we have number 10. Many families were given the chance to bond during the lockdown. Time's up. The answer is chance. And there we have it. We're done with the practice exercises. Now, I anticipate that all of you really understood our lesson and now you are all ready for our activity time. So let's have our activity. You need to answer the following on one whole sheet of paper. For the first one, you need to answer the assessment 2, which is entitled What's in the Blank? And it is located on page 16. Okay, so that this is a 1 to 5 item. All you have to do is you need to write the correct modal nouns to complete the sentences and use the given meaning beside the sentence as your clue. So there's a clue at the side of each sentence for you to easily answer it. So you just need to write the answer only. And for the next one is activity number 3. Choose it right. It is located on page 17. All you have to do is you need to complete the description of each picture by writing the correct modal nouns. And you have choices. It is located inside the box. So you just need again to write answer only. No need to copy the question or the sentences. And for the last part, we have what I have learned. It is located on page 18. So this time, as you also did in the part 1 of this module, you need to again draw the illustration and copy the paragraph before answering. So you may answer this again at the back of your paper. Again, I will repeat, you need to draw the illustration. And that illustration just looks like a paper. Okay, so you just need to draw it before answering it. And of course, you need to copy first the paragraph. Then, on the line, you need to write your answer. Alright, so that's all for Module 3, Part 2. So, if you have any question, again, you may send me a personal message in Messenger. Please have an advanced reading for the part 3 of this module, which is about the modal adverbs. Okay, so this has been Ma'am Ro V. Manikis, your English 8 teacher. Keep safe and God bless us all learners. Bye!